Okay, everybody, I'm going to walk you through the steps for the Lyric Remix Challenge, and that way you can take a look at this video as you're building it in the library and refer to it if you have any questions. So the first thing you have to do is you have to select your song lyric, and I'm going with Dream Big and Sleep Late from Drake's Right Hand. And then you have to think about what photos you want to couple with that. So I was thinking about dreaming big and sleeping late, and those are two things that happen in college. At least they did for me anyway. So I was thinking about different things that could represent that, and I found these two photos that I thought were sort of interesting. This empty classroom as if everyone has slept in too late, and maybe a reason why everyone would be sleeping in too late. You want to pick two different photos that give the lyric a different read. So think about that. Are you going to completely negate the lyric with one, or are you just going to play with subtle differences? So think about what you want to do. For this demo, I'm going to use this image here. So once you have the lyric and the images you want to use, you're going to go ahead and make your posters. So to do that, you're going to open up Photoshop. You do not need to buy Photoshop. The library computers have it, so that's really great. Saves you a ton of money. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to basically create your picture plane. So you come up to File and hit New, and then you're going to title it Your Name, underscore, and Remix, and then one or two depending on whether it's your first poster or your second poster. Now these are going to be 11 by 17 inches. Now, they could be 11 wide and 17 high, or 17 wide and 11 high. It kind of depends on if you want a landscape or a portrait style poster. So since I'm using this classroom, which is very landscape, I'm going to make this one 17 inches wide and 11 inches high. Perfect. And then I'm going to go for resolution. I'm going to do 300 pixels per inch, or 300 dpi. Because I'm hoping to print this, I'm going to go ahead and change the color to CMYK. So CMYK is for print and RGB is for the web. So I don't know if I'll be able to print them, but I'm hoping I can. And then I'm going to bump up the bit to 16. Your background contents can be white or transparent, whichever. I'm going to keep it with white. So there is our template. Okay, so you're going to create a layer for the photograph and a layer for the text. So you go up to Layer, down to New, Layer, and let's call it Photo. And then do the same thing, Layer, New, whoops, and Text, and hit OK. So now I'm going to click on my photo layer. I'm going to hit Command A. So I go onto my photo, hit Command A to select all, and then Command C to copy it. And then I come back over to my template and I hit Command V to paste. You can see it looks tiny. So don't worry though, we're going to make it bigger. To resize it, I'm going to hit Command T, which is free transform. And I'm going to hold the Shift key down. You have to hold the Shift key down or your proportions will change. And then I'm going to pull this out until it fills my picture plane. Now it looks terrible right now, but once I hit return, you'll see that the pixelation will go away. So there's our photo. So now I'm going to come up to the Move tool, just this X right here, select it, and I'm going to move this photo around this way and that to figure out what I want to do for my composition. So I have to think about, do I want this podium in the center, or do I want it pushed off to the side? I'm already kind of envisioning on where I might put my text. So I think I'm going to put it off to the side a little bit. I don't know if I want that line there, so maybe I'm going to, but I do like the chalk. So maybe something like that. Yeah, I think that'll work. So I'm happy with that. I can always change my mind. It's not a big deal. Now I'm going to go ahead and set my text. So I go to my text layer, and then I come over to the text, horizontal text tool, and click on that. It's the big T. And I'm going to go ahead and draw a box on where I think I'm going to put that text. Also, you can change this. You can also make multiple layers, multiple text layers, and try a bunch of different things. So don't feel like you have to get it right the first time or you only have one shot. That is not the case. design is all about trying as many things as you can come up with. So up here you've got your font type. This is Helvetica Neue I'm using. It's just a really clean sans serif font, but you can go through and pick a font that you feel like adds to the narrative or is really visually compelling. Just stay away from anything I would call really cheesy, like Curls or Dakota Sans, or what is it, Dakota Handwriting, I think. Classic typically is a little bit better. So let me go back up to Helvetica. There we go. And then this is my size of my font, 150 it's set at right now, which is really huge. I'm going to go to 72 and see. And then this is the color of the font. So you can click on your color palette and then you can, make it any color. You have to think about, is there a color that goes really beautifully with what's happening in the photo? Is there a color that maybe adds something to the narrative or supports the narrative? Play around. So I'm going to go with this kind of yellow. I think it'll look nice against the chalkboard, and I'll hit OK. And then I'm going to type this in. And I can think about, do I want them all lined up like this? Do I want to change the format of my box and make it vertical? Do I want to only be able to fit, one word per line? There's so many different things to think about. So let's see. I don't know. I don't know if this needs to be bigger. I don't know if it works better horizontally. Again, these are all things that you are playing around with. So let's go back just for fun and come up here. Go back to the move tool. Yeah, I sort of like that kind of in the upper third, upper half. I like the way that it's pushed over to the right. I like the contrast between this wide open space and this more kind of populated space. I could play with this a bunch more, but I think I'm going to keep that for right now. And as I was doing that, I got a cool idea. I think I'm going to make another layer, and I'm going to call it big text. Great, I'll keep the all caps there and hit OK. And I was just thinking it could be cool to have like a dream repeated again, but maybe really big, that fills up the whole picture, but then maybe not opaque, so you could actually see through it. So I'm going to give it a try. It might work, it might not. Who knows? So let's go ahead and go to the text tool again, and I'm going to draw a big box. You can do it without drawing a box, but the box gives you more freedom in terms of moving it around later. So this time I am going to go really, really big. Let's see, 150. It's probably going to even be bigger than that. Let's go 300. Just make it huge. And I have it in my mind that like a white would be cool. Maybe a gray. Let's try it. And I'm going to do all caps. I kind of want it to be even bigger. So I'm going to hit Command A to select the text. And let's try 500. Let's try, it's a little too big. Let's try 450. I got to get that M on there. How about 425? Oh, so close. Okay, how about 400? Why is it never showing? Maybe I have to type it again. No. So Command A. Okay, 350. Yeah, dream them. And then I'll go ahead and take that off there. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is you look up here and you see opacity. So I'm going to click on that. When you click on this little cursor to the right, you get this sort of slide rule and slide bar. And you can move it so that it is more opaque or less opaque. It's kind of cool. All right. I kind of like that. I think that's sort of interesting. I'm going to go ahead and go over to my move tool, and then I can even play around with where I place it. So every new element that you end up adding creates a new set of problems that you have to figure out. So be diligent, like don't be easily satisfied. The harder you are to satisfy, typically the more interesting your resulting project will be. So let's say I'm happy with this for the sake of argument, and now I'm ready to save it and upload it to Camino. So I'm going to hit Command S, and I'm actually going to save this 2 times. The first time I save it, I'm going to save it as a Photoshop document, PSD. This is a document that I can go and change at any time. They're huge though, so this is not what you're going to submit. This is your file to keep. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save to save that, and then it's going to think about it for a bunch. You can see it working here. Now if you were to turn in this Photoshop document on Canvas, it would basically crash your computer and crash mine. What you're going to do is you're going to save it as a JPEG. So to save it as something else, you're going to go ahead and hit Command Shift S for Save As, and you're going to save it as a JPEG. There's a fair amount of compression on a JPEG, but for what we're using these for, it's fine. Make sure that you're saving at maximum quality, and there you go. So I'm going to close out of the Photoshop document and actually close out of that. So now this is my JPEG of my poster. This is what I'm going to submit on Canvas. I'm going to upload it to the Lyric Remix assignment. All right, good luck. Can't wait to see what you come up with.